Have you ever seen the Exorcy?
Hey, no more stories. I'll call this meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Good evening. Councilman Larson.
Here.
Councilman Dickerson.
Here.
Mayor Green.
Here.
Councilman Castillo.
Here.
And Councilman Burchard. Here. Mayor Green, you have a quorum of the council with all members present.
Thank you. Next thing on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda. Did everyone have a chance to read through everything?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Motion for approval of consent agenda?
Second.
We have a motion that's been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of the consent, approving the consent agenda, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Let's go down the list here. Gonna go, I'll make sure I don't go too far. I've got the catering. Okay, so we're gonna go right into reports. I'll start off. So, over the last couple weeks, we've been discussing more of the special purpose tax after the last meeting and kind of discussing what some of the projects that we should bring forward. The one that's really kind of come to the top of the pile lately is an improvement project of the green space, or what I would call the green space, kind of from town all the way out towards the bend, basically. And that would include putting in trees and a sidewalk, green space, basically, and just make kind of the entrance into town from this side a little more appealing. And we've got Jorgensen working on some numbers that they've gotten back to us on that. And then we're working on getting a quote for a generator for the Civic Center, which would basically be power backup for if and when the power went out and for an extended period of time and we needed some place to send people to be warm and safe and everything. So those are a couple that have come up to the top of the pile. But we had a great meeting with the Lincoln County School Board, but I'll let Councilwoman Castillo give that report. And I really don't have anything else at this point, but I wanted to yield the rest of my time to Mike Hunsaker, who's going to give us a update on the goings-on at Star Valley Health in their construction project. So, Mr. Hunsaker, if you don't mind turning on the microphone, or maybe Dan will do it. Thanks. Thanks, Dan. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you very much for the opportunity to take a few minutes to share with you some information about Star Valley Health. I have to apologize first to the council. I think the last 2 months I've been on your agenda, and Monica has been very clear about that, but my memory is bad. And I apologize for my absence here the last few months, and I appreciate the time tonight. I just wanted to share with the council what's going on with our construction project over across the river at our clinic. As you know, we're finishing that 10,000 square feet of shelled space that we constructed in 2021. And so we're well into the construction now. I want to tell the council thank you very much for allowing your town inspector to provide some inspection backup to the Wyoming Department of Health. That's worked out very well, and we're very appreciative of his willingness to come kind of on a moment's notice when we have rebar to cover up, or we want to inspect some pipe before it gets covered by concrete and that kind of thing. And he's been just super to help us and work with the Department of Health. So please pass on our thanks to him. We also, the construction is going very well. We've poured a lot of concrete inside there, and now we're framing the space. And I would say the space is probably about 85 to 90% framed. We've got to construct a 2-hour firewall that separates the ER space from the surgery space, and that has to go clear to the roof deck, which is a pretty complicated process for that big roof system we have there, but that's going very well. I wanted to share with you our general contractor, Erdman Construction, their job superintendent. His name is Dave Book. He shared with me the other day he was very pleased. He said he has never worked with a better group of subcontractors over the years as a job superintendent than he's worked with here in Alpine. And we have several local contractors that are helping us over here on the job. And I think that was good to hear that our local contractors and others are easy to work with. They found a place to live. They actually, one of the HVAC and plumbing contractor is rented an Airbnb in Thane. That's as far as ways they had to go, so that's not too bad. But with all the other local folks, it's been really good to have them on the job consistently and not have to worry too much about roads and weather and that type of thing. So really this year the weather's cooperated very well with us, and we haven't had to deal with too much snow on the west side of the building there. Just so the council is aware that we are continuing to work through the kind of the second phase of the project, and that is we're working with Surveyor Sherbel and the town to adjust a lot line, a boundary on a lot line so that we meet the setbacks for the west side of the building. We're working through that and working with Christine and the planning and zoning through that as well, and on an easement, a little bit of a change in an easement to allow us to encroach on an easement a little bit and yet bubble out the easement on the other side so we can fit that ambulance bay in on the west side of the space there, so we can accommodate the ambulance traffic through there. So we're really grateful to the town for your willingness to work with us. One other thing that we're working through planning and zoning on is, as you know, healthcare facilities require quite a bit of signage, directional wayfinding signage and that type of thing, and we've gone back to the planning and zoning and asked them for additional considerations on our variance for our signage so we can add the appropriate signage for ER and entrance and parking and that kind of thing. So we'll be working with planning and zoning on that as well. But we're really pleased with how things are going. It's amazing to me. We've been going through a staffing model, and it appears that we're going to have to hire about 19 additional employees to staff the facility, the ER and the surgery. And so that's exciting, and these are really great jobs, and we're kind of hopeful that there are people here in the community that travel to St. John's that might want to just stay here in town. Yeah. You know, so we're hopeful that some of the local folks that already work in healthcare might want to take the opportunity to be here closer to home. So working through that right now. We had a little bit of an issue with our emergency generator. We ordered that way back last September, hoping we could get it by November this year. And they've actually moved the date of delivery up to August now. So we're really pleased with that. So it was a little bit dependent on the emergency generator to get the Department of Health approvals. So we're happy to say that that's not the most important thing on the timeline anymore. So that's a good thing. We intend to have the facility pretty well completed during the month of October. We'll have all the equipment installed and tested and the building commissioned, and the Wyoming Department of Health will come and do a final inspection, and they'll give us a punch list of the items that we may be deficient in that we can correct. And we're honestly hoping to begin offering services sometime during the month of November over here at the facility and open the ER and start performing outpatient surgeries sometime in November this year. So we're happy to say we'll have our cardiologist here doing cardiac catheters. We'll have our one of our orthopedic surgeons doing orthopedic surgery, outpatient surgeries. Our pain management doc will be doing pain management procedures. Dr. Kirk intends to come down here and do endoscopy, colonoscopy and endoscopy work for the community on this end of the valley. And so we're really pleased with the number of physicians that want to take part in the facility over here and excited to provide these additional services for the community. So any questions the council might have for me, I'd be happy to try and answer them.
I guess my only question or comment would be, I'm interested to see what happens with your signage, whatever, because I understand for sure we don't want, in an emergency, someone going to the wrong, yeah.
Yeah, I think our request to the planning and zoning is to add about an additional 150 square feet of signage over and above what we currently have at the facility. And I know that we have two frontages, which has helped us a lot, but that is additional to the variance we have already. So we're hopeful that the Planning and Zoning Commission will be willing to work with us on that. So we have appropriate wayfinding for people who need the ER.
For sure.
Yeah.
Any questions for Mr. Hunsaker?
We're planning to do a tour of the facility at noon on April 4th. And if any of you would like to come and attend that, you're sure welcome to come over, and we'll give you a tour of the facility and the progress of the construction if you're of a mind to come and attend that with us. And again, I'm certainly willing to come at any time and give a private tour as well. So if you have an evening or a early morning, lunchtime, I'd be happy to come and give you a tour anytime. So thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for coming, Mike. Next, we've got Planning and Zoning reports. Mr. Scow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board. We've been doing a lot of work, and we're excited about some of the things that we've chosen to dive into. On your packet, you'll probably see the second revised recommendation for the part of the setback that we had verbiage issues with. And I think that says everything it needs to say. I think Jim would probably, as an attorney, would probably say, yeah, he could argue that.
He was successful.
True, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next is consider incorporation of a civil engineer drawings into the building permit process. I think it's more important now as town of Alpine moves and grows that planning and zoning actually gets to see exactly what's on that site. How that building, the buildings, property lines, setback lines, we're not doing real well with hand-drawn because we're not getting the proper data. And so since we already are required to have certificate of placement, that certificate of placement pre-done should be on a plot plan for us to see before we do anything.
Right.
Shows the property corners, shows setbacks, shows the driveways, shows sewer, water, shows everything we need to see, and then we can adapt what they're going to do on that piece of property. But if we don't get that, then it's really, who knows? For us to make any proper decisions, it really needs to be part of pre-planning for us. The third was we've worked really hard at looking at the budget, all the building permit fees. Just a bit of context. When we first joined P&Z, Monica And I said, hey, there's an imbalance between what we take in, planning and zoning, and what we spend. And so we had to look at all of those numbers and kind of extrapolate what parts did you do last year and the increases that could help offset that imbalance. So what you have in front of you is really generation of numbers that have come from Afton, Pinedale, Lander, and Du Bois. Right now, with those fees, if you allowed those fees to go into place, we would be the second least expensive place to build
Out of all those?
out of all of those.
Wow.
Du Bois is going to be the least expensive. Then comes us. Then comes Afton, Lander, and Pinedale. Lander and Pinedale they basically take 1% of your overall building. So let's say an average town home here in Alpine costs $725,000. That's based on Zillow. It's the quickest data that we could get. $7,250, but not only $7,250, you have then sewer tap, water tap, and power. The one thing that we don't see on this fee is, on the fee list, is sewer tap and water fee need to be addressed in there, because that's all part of. If you're going to build a house, you can't do it without sewer, water. That's part of that process.
Yeah, it's under a different ordinance.
But in that place of fees, it really does need to be placed in there. But going through, talking to all of these other building departments, we left Jackson completely out of the loop. We kind of went around the circle. If you approve those, you'll be still the second least expensive place to build in our neck of the woods.
All right, we'll have a chance to talk about that stuff. So do you happen to know like how many open building permits and things of that nature that we have?
Yeah, I had that piece. Christine has that.
Okay.
I think there was 24. And we don't really have a really great way to keep track of all of that. That's something that we're going to be talking about the next meeting. There are programs out there
That's coming soon.
that kind of give us a better opportunity to track.
Yeah, we've been doing research on that, so.
Yeah, I think that's a smart idea.
Yeah, I think it'll help everybody. Help you guys, help us keep track of
Exactly.
things. And so, yeah, it should be a good thing, but, all right, is that all you have for now?
Listen, that's all I have. I have 3, giving you 2. Looking for some approval.
We'll take a look at them later.
Mayor Green?
Yes.
So I did speak to Christine today about these changes, because I know there's been some conversation about, to the land use development code, because there's been some conversation about possibly holding them until they get more. But I think the impression I got that the ones that they've presented to you, they would like to see action on and then go from there, because they feel like they're pretty pertinent to the upcoming building season.
Okay,
And then if they have to change it, if we have to do it again
Right.
later in the year, we will.
okay.
So that was kind of the school thought, because I didn't want to put her under a situation where, did she want to change it now? Did she want to wait? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But they feel like the ones that have been presented should be addressed,
Good, that's good feedback.
so.
Well, I guess we can start that process, and we've got 3 readings, so
Right.
Yeah, it
if more
wouldn't
things
start
come up,
till April.
whatever,
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe we can, keep focusing
Yeah.
on that.
okay.
Sounds good. We'll let Councilman Larson start his triumvirate.
All right, let's see, utility easement update. Actually met today with Silver Star and Lower Valley, working on getting everything set up for this summer. Silver Star would like to be completed with not only the hill, but Alpine altogether by the end of this year. And we're pretty much getting there. We've got a couple of hot spots of properties that we're working with the owners to address their concerns, but everything's going good. We're going to meet again in 3 weeks so we can get a plan for as soon as the snow melts and get it done. Economic development, I haven't heard anything. Have you, Mr. Mayor? There was supposed to be another meeting in March, but I haven't.
Yeah, they're talking about combining the north part of the county and south part of the county into one, and I haven't heard where that stands now.
So, to be continued.
Yep.
Alpine Travel and Tourism Board report. Application period ended last week, March 15th. We got a total of 8 applications, 5 from the town, 2 from Star Valley Arts Council, and 1 from Alpine Trails and Pathways. Our meeting is on the 4th, I believe. Double check on that. A lot of meetings. Yes, 6 o'clock on the 4th. Here we'll be going over essentially first reading, going over the applications, basically just kind of getting familiar with it. There'll be 3 readings if we need to have 3 readings, but that meeting will be on the 4th. Sorry, I'm going to back up one sec to the utility easements. One thing we found this morning, if we could get, the utility easement we have with the Forest Service to access the water tanks are for the water line only,
Okay.
not utility. We need to rewrite that to include, see if the forest would include utility as well, because we'd like to get, with the radio read meters and everything coming online, security coming online, we'd like to be able to get utilities, power and whatnot up there as well. And that is just a matter of changing, I guess, water line to utility line. Other than that, that's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you. The Lincoln County Sheriff report was submitted in writing, and if anyone wants to read that, they can access that online. Last but not least, Alpine Education Committee.
Yes.
Councilwoman Castillo, you have a great update, I know.
Thank you, Mayor Green. We had a very productive meeting. It was extremely well attended. The last time that I looked at the Facebook feed was over 370 views. Just to clarify, you do not need Facebook to see the feed. It's just on the Lincoln County School District 2.org website. Scroll down and you can see the entire meeting. Our chairwoman, Kelly Shackelford, was incredible. She was very focused. She was able to obtain the Lincoln County education consultants numbers on our growth, birth rates, trends ahead of time, and they're very much in our favor for what our goals are as a town. We secured a workshop for April 10th at 5 p.m. That's going to be in the same district location in Afton. It is a public meeting. We would love everybody to attend. I'm sure they'll have a public comment section. We had a presentation by our chairwoman, and then we did have a public comment section, which I spoke at. Mayor Green attended. So there's a lot of interest. We have some momentum moving forward, and hopefully we'll have another really good update to give you end of April. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, and the workshop is basically an opportunity for us to kind of have more than 8 minutes or whatever they give us to state our case and reason why we would want Etna and Thane to go to K through 6.
Yes.
Initially, that would be the initial remedy to help our kiddos, and then start discussing. The other thing that I thought was important was the consultant that they hired
Yes.
to give us data on the birth rates and all that stuff. Basically said that Lower Valley is growing just as fast as the Upper Valley, and depending on which 30-year trend, 20-year trend, 5-year trend, whichever one you look at, we would actually be exceeding the Upper Valley as far as our growth rate.
Yes.
And that is in line with what we've seen, and
Right.
the number of, no one has, Alpine has the most building permits currently and, plans for other developments. So I think it's the first time that we actually have some data to back up what we've kind of been saying anecdotally.
Yes.
So we're very optimistic that they seem very willing to listen.
To chat. Well, and we're gathering the child development numbers as well. Those are really essential. We're going to be reaching out to homeschoolers. So we as a committee are going to set up a meeting, and we've invited Dan Dockstader and others to go ahead and give us more information and offer their support for the public meeting moving forward. But yes, Alpine has seen some extreme shifts up and down, and Afton and other areas have not seen anything like that, which means we could trend to have another large swing upward. So it was just wonderful to have the data support our requests, and I think that was very tangible for them to see. So they've designated an hour, I'm sure we'll go over that, but we just appreciated them giving us some time and being able to go back and forth and use the workshop to our advantage.
Yep. Yeah, it was great. So thank you for that report. We'll move right into the action items. First one that we've got there is Get Down LLC wastewater treatment facility fee agreement. Do we have a motion?
A motion to approve and adopt the Get Down LLC wastewater treatment and facility fee agreement.
We have a motion.
Second.
It's been seconded. Discussion. This is a document that we have been working on for several months. Basically what this is, we needed to come up with a way to charge Melvin, and we're going with Get Down LLC is the latest company name. We needed a way to charge them for the pretreatment plant, because in the contract it essentially says that they have to pay for all of it, but we don't even know how much that's going to cost. So we came up with this agreement that's it's $12,000 a month, and that pretty much covers all the operation, the electrical, our people to run it, things of that nature. And then we'll have a year to evaluate how much all that costs, and then at that point going forward, there'll be another agreement, but that's essentially, what it's going to be. So, does anyone have any questions?
Just update, we've got the update of Melvin Brewing Company, but if you look through the contract, it still says Melvin's
I seen that. I looked up and saw it.
in several places.
That was their attorney.
Okay.
We know who we're talking about.
3/4 of the town.
So, so you're
Yeah.
gonna have to amend your motion to, edit
Jim,
it.
Jim just said it's not a problem.
Is it not a
It's
problem?
not, because generally who we're talking about, we're not gonna get confused.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, you're getting with Get Down.
Okay.
See, they're the ones.
Right.
that are on the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other typos there, Councilman Larson?
Not that jump out at me.
Not that you found yet? Okay.
It's funny, when I read it, I never saw it.
I know, because we know, we
We all
see it
say
so many
Everyone says Melvin anyways. So is there any other,
information we need.
I would like to take this blank page out of here. I don't know why that's on there, but,
Page 3 of 5?
yeah.
Yeah.
What do we do with that, Mr. Sanderson? Does it, who cares?
Guess what we could do when you go to sign it, just initial it intentionally left blank, so we're not moving things around.
Okay.
Okay.
Easiest.
Okay, that's no problem. Any questions, comments? Any public comments? Yeah, go ahead.
Ken King, Alpine. Mr. Mayor, Council, I was just wondering with the agreement, with Melvin, you were talking about electricity within that. Now, there's maintenance costs to keep that water treatment going. Is that within the monthly fee?
Yep, that's our anticipated, that should cover us for the first year, we think. Like I said, we have no idea how much power it's gonna take or anything, so, I think both Melvin and the town of Alpine found a middle ground where we feel comfortable. We don't know how many hours a day people are going to be over there, but we have two main operators for the wastewater. So we think they're going to kind of be separating or splitting duties over there.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's real preliminary, but this is the best we could do leading up to it.
When the city has, or town has better numbers, can that be updated easily?
For sure. Yeah.
So- yeah,
So at the end of this,
And so just to explain, the intent of this agreement is to ensure that the town of Alpine can collect monies from Melvin through the course of this. Currently, we have no ability to charge them anything other than for household waste outside of this agreement. That would be about $4,000 a month. So what we've done is looked at what they're paying us now for sludge hauling, which is, the sludge hauling is the reason we've built the pretreatment facility. And we've looked at all that, we've looked at the numbers. Their sewage is less than half of the capacity of the overall plant. So to assign 100% of the cost is disingenuous in some respects. And so that's why we've recommended a full study, but the only way to do that is unfortunately to have that plant operational. So I think it's a good agreement. I do. There's been a lot of back and forth, and
Sure,
and
good start.
honestly, I can tell you, I'm so appreciative. We have Melvin's here represented tonight. They came to the table and agreed to pay us $12,000 a month, and because they understood that it could put us a financial burden on the town of Alpine, and I'm pleased with what they've done. So I am. So I hope, but we do have the avenue in this agreement to. If we find out we're completely wrong one way or the other, we're going to come back to the table. We have a really good working relationship and a really good communication with them now. And so we're going to work together to make sure we do what's best for Alpine. I believe that, and I don't mean to speak for Melvin, but that's what we've gotten at the table with them.
Also, just to add, this agreement is only for a year, so after that year period, we will reassess the whole thing, and we want to get a full permit on top of that, instead of just being under an agreement.
Sure.
And actually have, like, scheduled permits for if anything goes wrong and everything along those lines, so we actually have a better system in place. It's just with this new system, we have.
Sure, and 1 year of data will help that out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
thank you for your
Thank you.
comment.
No, thank you. That was a great question.
Any further comments, questions? All right, all those in favor of, let's see, Get Down LLC wastewater treatment facility fee agreement, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
Authority to sign it.
Huh?
You need authority to sign it too. You're in favor. Sorry.
Let's make your
Mr. Mayor,
amendment.
can I
Yeah.
amend
Yes, please.
that?
You don't need to amend it. Just do a motion.
A motion
right
to-
now
Okay.
Okay,
agree to that.
thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd also like to make a motion to have you as the authorized signer. Mayor Green, the authorized signer.
Second.
We have a motion, it's been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of giving me authority to sign the agreement, say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes. Okay, thank you. Okay, P and Z recommendations is next on here. Kind of,
I think we've already addressed them.
yeah, we need to, the intent basically from what you're going for here is basically give the clerk the authorization to develop a draft. Is that what you were going for here, Madam Clerk?
I'm sorry, I didn't type. I apologize, I did not review this today. So let me look at what it said.
Yeah, it's just asking for you to give you the authority to do that, which I don't know if we have to do that, but.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. I can do that without that. If you want to, you can.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you're final on that, we'd do 3 readings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't think we need to make a motion to give you authorization. So, yeah, look forward to working with P and Z on that. So, yeah, we'll just keep moving down the list. I think you can go ahead and start doing that if you want.
I will be happy to
Thank
do
you.
that.
Next is the official appointments of the Alpine Architectural Review Committee. Is there a motion for the table?
Make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-011, official appointments of the Alpine Architectural Review Committee.
Second.
We have a motion, it's been seconded. I'll start with the comments on this one, just to rehash one more time. This is an architectural review committee that's for commercial properties only in the town of Alpine. This isn't for residential. And what we're looking for the people on the committee members to come up with is the guidelines, basically, of what we want to see the town of Alpine looking like in the next 20, 30, 40 years. So I think this is great. I don't want to point out any buildings that are currently in town but some of the buildings would not have looked the way they do currently with this, if this was in place. So, I just think it's a great all the way around. I'll give you a little, history on or background on the 3 people that we have, as appointees. Brian James is an architect for CLB in Jackson. They do some of the most beautiful houses and commercial buildings in not only Wyoming but all over the country, and very knowledgeable about all things that have to do with commercial buildings. Brett Bennett is also a local architect. He focuses a lot on buildings in the town of Alpine. A lot of the work he does, he works here. So his feedback and ideas are really important. And then Wendy Walton is our librarian. Many of you know Wendy. She used to serve on planning and zoning, and has a great grasp for how things used to work in planning and zoning and how that process worked. So I think she brings to the committee some of that background. She's willing to help out. You could see as far as the terms go.
I was going to ask you
Yeah,
about that.
she expressed the putting the guidelines together was something that she was really interested in. But going forward, what's going to happen, I would think, and the committee's going to come up with the procedures, but when commercial plans come in, or plans for commercial buildings come in, they're going to go to this group first, and they're going to say, this is in the guidelines, this is not in the guidelines, and basically kick it back. So it won't even go to planning and zoning until they've got the, suffice on the guidelines. So she was interested in putting the guidelines together, but thought the architects would have a much better idea of kind of looking at the plans and saying this doesn't work or whatever. So I totally agree. If that's, she will be a huge help in the guidelines. So I put her as a 1-year term. And then Brett, he used to serve on planning and zoning, so he's another wealth of knowledge in that whole process. So I think since he's already served in the past, I thought a 2-year term would be great. And then Brian James is a friend of mine, and so he got the short end of the stick for the third. But does anyone have any questions on the appointees and their background or anything?
But even with the shortened term, we will move forward with three. This will always be a three-member.
Exactly
Okay.
right. So as soon as, there's going to be a revolving, every single year, we will be appointing someone else to sit on the committee.
Okay.
So next year at this time, whatever, we'll be looking for, let's see, it's through the end of
Yeah, because it's
2024.
just through the end
Yeah.
of this year.
So
Wendy.
this will be one of the appointments that we do at the beginning of next year. And maybe will have had so much fun that she'll want to come back and serve for a 3-year term. But,
Yes.
so I don't know if that's going to happen, but we can only hope.
Okay.
Yeah, so any other questions? Any questions? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say Brett Bennett was an Alpine resident?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. He's actually Meta Dittmer's husband.
Oh,
Yeah.
put two and two together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I've spoken at length with all three, and I think they're kind of understanding what the task is for them, so I think they're comfortable with that. But, yeah, I look forward, they're gonna have just quarterly meetings,
Okay.
so we've kind of missed the first quarter, I guess, but their first meeting would be probably in the second quarter. And then going forward, when plans come in, you don't have to wait until the quarterly meeting. Basically, they'll be able to look at
That's
it
what I
and
was
see.
gonna ask.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it won't
Okay.
necessarily slow down the whole, development process.
Right.
It's not meant to do that. It's just make sure that we kind of have a say in what it's going to look like going forward.
Okay.
Sound good? Any other discussion? All those in favor of Resolution 2024-11 Architectural Review Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I'm starting to use my gavel a little bit more. I was inspired by the school board. Okay, next, let's see. We have the Zyland subdivision annexation. Do we have a motion? Get it on the table?
Make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-12, Xylem subdivision annexation.
Is this first reading?
This is just the resolution.
On,
This is just, yeah.
Oh, resolution.
Yes.
Yeah, setting the hearing.
yep.
Oh, got it.
So we have a motion
Second?
and we have a second. Discussion.
Could we pull that out?
Yep. I'll pull up both. Madam Clerk, do we have everything that's required by statute for this petition for annexation?
Yes.
We do?
Yeah, actually, Christine certified the initial application. We've been waiting for, Jorgensen Engineering to do the analysis on water and sewer.
Okay.
We did get that back. The timing was such, though, that we would not be able to make the April meeting, but now that we have it, we can set the hearing for May.
When will the hearing be?
May 19th.
May 19th?
Is that, or 21st, wait a minute. 21st in May,
I'm sorry?
21st.
21st of May. So it'll be before our
Town council.
typically scheduled town
Yes.
council meeting? Okay.
Is there a hot link for a map so we can pull this up for our residents? Do we have any?
It doesn't show.
Okay.
So this,
Is that not attached to the?
I
stuff
thought
that
it
we
was, but I must
I'll
have
pull up the
been-
GIS real quick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a property, next to Ray Hafiz's. that
Which is
little
how this
piece.
came about, correct?
Yeah, which was it's that little piece that between Elkhorn, there's just one little piece
Okay.
left now, that all that other rest has been annexed.
Okay.
Let's see.
Hope I'm hitting the right one.
No, it's
Probably-
horrible to navigate.
I need the. Okay, I can get there here shortly.
map's not there, just the letter is. My apologies.
That's okay.
She didn't ask.
So this is this, right here, this little guy. This is, as we all know, this is the Hafiz property, and this little corner up there is not in the town of Alpine, and now they're hoping to be in with this annexation, so I think it makes a lot of sense, but,
And there's no plans for development of this property.
Okay. How many acres is it? I'm sorry, I missed
see.
that when you hit.
oh,
Select.
yeah, it's not 7 acres. It's just
Okay.
under 2.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other discussion, questions?
And you would think for a very small lot that the engineering wouldn't have been a big deal. However, Jorgensen does a great job at guiding us through this. So their opinion and recommendation is when this property is developed, that they will have to extend the water main completely to the end of the property. And so that's what took so long. They looked at it for holistically to, if you're going to do something with this, because the water main stops there and they need to carry it to the edge of their property. So there's a considerable cost involved with that they had
Right.
to calculate. Yeah.
Does the town of Alpine shoulder our initial engineering costs? Or
Currently.
do we, okay.
Currently.
I know we're working on a lot of different costs. I
Yeah.
was just curious if it's an
The
initial.
annexation ordinance is going to clean that all up.
Okay.
Yep, we can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Forgot if we went that far back in the process. Awesome. Thank you, Monica.
No, thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of resolution 2024-12, Xylan subdivision annexation, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Watch out, that's an intimidating gavel.
He's on a roll.
I want a bigger one. All right, next, we have the annexation ordinance on second reading. Let me pull this up real quick. Is this it? Annexation, second reading, okay. The only question I have on this, I guess we can get a motion so it's on the table, but I do have a couple questions real quick on that.
Okay. I move to make a motion to approve on second reading ordinance number 2024-001 annexation ordinance.
We have a motion, it's been seconded, discussion. The only comment I have on this, and this is more for Mr. Sanderson, I believe, but on this document, do we, with this numbering, the way you have it, like 17? Thanks, Drew, see ya.
I'm trying to set it up so that when we do the recodification, your Title 17 will be your
Oh, fabulous.
building zone. So
Okay.
that way it can go just directly to, and then we can fill in where it is. But that's,
So do we need to fill these numbers in before third
we'll
reading?
need to assign them when we get I mean, we can put arbitrary numbers in it right now, just 7-1, whatever, however it is, but when it goes to be published for recodification, we'll have to have all, so it makes sense.
Okay.
So in reality, these numbers don't mean anything, and unless we add the specific things
Yeah, the
to
ones
it.
on this draft for second reading don't mean anything, but I think we should put at least something in there so we can enforce it, have something to refer to.
Okay, so we just start with like 17-1, 17-2.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that on third reading.
Right.
Okay.
I'll take care of it.
Yeah, I think we can just start at the top and
Okay.
just, number them like that. I know this is the second time it's come up. I don't think there's been any major changes since first reading, has there?
There's been none.
Okay.
We had a meeting with the engineer, the committee who had, and everybody thought it was well-written
Yes.
and addressed all of our concerns.
Yeah, we'll pick it apart on third reading, I guess, Jim.
Also for third reading on, where it passed at the very bottom, where it passed on first reading, you have vote for, yes, 0, no, 0, absent, 4. I believe there's only one absent.
Let's see.
I think we could just,
That was me.
we could just update that.
Where'd it go? I went backwards the other way. I gotta check that.
Just for background, for anyone that has any questions about this, this is basically, right now, when someone annexes into the town of Alpine, it puts a lot of onus on the town of Alpine to do all this publishing of, reaching out to all the residents that live within 500 feet and all that stuff. And also a lot of the costs are burdened on the town of Alpine the way it currently is in our system. So this takes care of all that and puts the onus on the person that's coming into and annexing into the town. So the current residents aren't, having to pay for people coming into the town. So that's the reason for this. And if anyone's wants a little light reading, I highly suggest you dig into this one. But
It's actually very
yeah.
interesting. Yes.
Any other comments?
Can I?
Yes, please.
It also provides basically a structure for findings when we're doing the annexation. The people coming forward, the petitioning for the annexation, have to provide evidence of each of the elements that are
Yes.
required, so.
By
if-
statute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they come in and in their presentation say it's a great benefit to the town, then they better have evidence of what those benefits are,
Right.
because if not, it won't be considered,
Yes.
so.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, it's well-written and well-researched, so good job on that, Jim.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
It's really well written.
Yep. Any other comments? All those in favor of ordinance 2024-01 on second reading, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Love that. All right.
Gotta hit that thing like you mean it.
Eventually I will. Yep. Next on the list is annexation for Dead Horse Meadows on second reading.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 2024-2, annexation Dead Horse Meadows, second reading.
Second.
We have a motion. It's been seconded.
Bless you. Bless you.
Zunte.
Oh, we are,
Monica, can you give us an update on any submissions, any momentum in general, any more information that we've gathered on this annexation
We've gotten
request?
absolutely nothing since our
Okay.
last meeting when Tyler was here, yeah.
Okay.
There's been nothing. Wait a minute, they did submit.
I thought, okay,
You're right, but I don't get that. They submitted a subdivision request, that's through planning and zoning.
okay.
Did you guys see that yet, Dan?
What's that, man?
There was a subdivision request for Dead Horse Meadows?
We did look at it, but it was not completed.
Okay.
I was just curious. I just knew something had been submitted, so wanted to ask.
How many lots are they subdividing? Do you remember?
Okay.
Okay.
maybe we can ask them.
We'll
They're here.
enjoy an update. Oh, Tyler, would you like to?
Oh, you're
Two.
here. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. Okay. We'll
Did-
look
did
forward
you
to an
want-
update.
You want to
on
know?
that.
He can tell you.
Yeah,
Sure, if
please.
you'd like to say on record. Thank you.
And the question was basically how many lots they're looking to subdivide? Oh, okay.
Good evening, Tyler Davis, landlord there. So we're just trying to convert one into two, subdivide one into two, to work with the HOA, CCNRs there.
And I know that when we talked on the first reading, you were still looking at commercial spaces, townhomes? Have you,
Not any
Or
further,
not?
not really. Like I said, this is not a, even this year project to really build anything yet. But reading the CCNRs are, how I understand them is it's an either or. You can do residential or commercial.
Okay.
And the only way to do both is to do a lot line or split and split
Right.
into two lots.
okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Tyler.
Tyler.
Any other questions for Tyler or anybody while we have him up here? Can't grill him anymore, dang it. If there's no further comments, all those in favor of ordinance number 2024-02, annexation Dead Horse Meadows on second reading, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Really got that one. Final one is the approval of payment to jail concrete. This is pay requests, right? Let's pull that up.
Yeah, and so Robert brought in invoices after everything was sent to you guys. He hasn't filled out the required paperwork that's required to submit invoices. Kevin was on vacation. I didn't want to hold him up until, after, if we didn't do anything now, he wouldn't get paid until after the April meeting. So I threw it on here, just because, he's our contractor and trying to do the right thing. So I did see an email that came through today. Kevin is back, because Kevin was away. Kevin is back, and he has sent an email to Robert requesting that he submit his pay request on the proper paperwork, with the proper, it has to be notarized, everything else, so that Kevin can then review it. So it's up to you.
And then once he reviews it, it gets sent to the SLIB board for approval and
Yeah,
reimbursement.
it goes to SLIB,
Okay.
and then once it's back, yeah. So,
Go ahead.
Is the amount for 80,000 or 40,000?
It sounds like the
It's
original
80,000?
40, and then additional receipts have come in
That
that
was
we
my
don't have
question.
on here.
Okay.
there's two invoices for 40,000 that should have been attached.
Oh,
One for 40,700 and
Got
then
it.
the other one for just 40,000.
Got it.
Okay,
Yeah, it's for
Okay.
a total combined of 80,710.42.
got it.
So I'm sorry, point
So
of
what
clarity.
what this will allow is he'll do the documents, the mayor can then sign the pay request so that Christine can submit it to SLIP for reimbursement, and then we'll pay him.
do we have any of the, so we have the paperwork on 40,000 of it?
All we
Or-
have is invoices
Okay.
that you have.
So I think what we should say is, we can authorize payment, but only with contingent upon we'll release the funds
Yes.
contingent upon when the paperwork's done properly, right?
I'd also like to know where, I'm sorry, you said that this is above the original estimated amount? Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, I misunderstood.
I thought it was
Okay.
a change order.
No,
This is just pay.
That's I'm glad I wasn't.
just a
the
pay
wrong one.
request.
Okay. Yes.
But it's just not on the correct paperwork.
Proper paperwork and
And,
receipts.
yeah, and so the paperwork, when he submits it, what it says is, this was my total contract amount, this is how much I've already requested, this is how much I'm requesting now, this is a remaining amount of the contract. So there's, contract paperwork. so
Right.
That will get done, so.
Okay.
The only other thing that I would say is the two invoices we're off by 20 cents on what you have on the first.
Yes,
So
42 versus 22.
Yeah, 42 versus 22, but,
So is it 22 or 42?
it should be
According to the paperwork, it's 22.
22.
Thank you.
Would anyone be interested in making a motion in the amount of $110.22.
Make a motion to approve payment of jail concrete invoices in the amount of $80,710.22 and sled pay application request number 2 in the amount of $80,710.22 upon review and approval from Jorgensen Engineering.
And contingent upon.
Mayor's green signature.
No,
No.
contingent upon completed paperwork.
Oh, sorry.
So you
Continue
probably-
payment upon completed paperwork, contingent on completed paperwork
From JL
from
Concrete.
jail concrete.
Second.
Say it again.
That was well done. Really,
I
again,
don't know about well.
man,
but
Frank,
I stumbled.
you're really helping us get there. We have a motion, it's been seconded. Any,
Further discussion.
yeah, further discussion or clarification, like, we're gonna do our due diligence on these things and make sure that they have all their paperwork together. And then, so, Christine has not put in the pay request yet, though.
No.
Okay, that'll be coming soon, and then we will be getting reimbursed for as much as we can get reimbursed for this.
Yeah, you'll have to sign that. To
But
submit it.
timeline wise, we're okay as far as submissions and the slip? Okay.
Yeah. We're doing she might have even more that she has to do and put
Okay.
this on there as well. But, yeah. Any other discussion? Andrea, you're good?
I'm good.
Okay. All those in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. That's all we have for our agenda items. Public comment would be next. Does anyone have did they come to sit through our really short meeting to make a comment?
The shortest?
Oh, boy.
Once, going twice.
Here's-
you got it done so fast.
Yeah, don't ruin our momentum, right?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if I could be so bold as to make a motion for adjournment?
Oh, wow.
Second.
We have a motion. It's been seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Do you want to just, before we close off the mics, do you want to tell them when the Easter?
Oh, yes.
The Easter is, please?
The Alpine Easter egg hunt is coming up on March 30th. Activities begin at 10 a.m. We're switching it up a little bit this year. We're going to do some drawings before we start the actual Easter egg hunt. We've got some fun stuff. And we're going to have Katie Roberts with Lampshade Studio there taking photos with the Easter Bunny.
That's great.
That's awesome.
That is,
So-
Is that going to be inside or is that going to be,
Weather dependent.
okay.
So we'll figure it out when we get closer. But it should be a lot of fun. And, in conjunction with the Easter egg hunt, we're doing a cereal drive for the food bank. Food bank's really low on cereal right now.
Awesome.
So
And just to clarify, that's on next Saturday.
a week from Saturday, March 30th, the end of spring break.
Okay, perfect. All right,
Thank you.
sounds good. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Meeting adjourned. You can turn off your microphone.
what time is it?